Hello and welcome to training for the Relm Kng Commander Series Portable. This training is specific to the operations of the radio currently being used by Calfire. This training will be much more valuable to you if you have the portable radio in your hands and in front of you, so you'll be able to follow along and complete the operations as they're explained to you. I'll do a brief description of the configuration of the radio, and then I will go over each of the button and menu options in a chapter. So let's get started here with the top button configuration. First, you have your on-off and volume control knob, and as you turn the radio on, the radio will emit a small beep, and then the front display will light up. So as it just started, it said Relm Incorporated on the front of the radio, and then the display lights up, and the display will only stay lit for about 3 seconds. So for the purposes of training, I'm going to go ahead and have the backlight on all times, and I'll show you how that works in a little bit. So back to the top. Next to the volume control, you have your channel select knob, and this is a constant knob that goes around because the radio is broken down into 53 zones, and each zone has between 16 to 200 channels in each zone for a total of 1,752 channels. And we'll go over how to get to the zones later. So this has a constant, and you'll hear a beep when it goes to number 1 and back when it gets to the total amount of channels that's in that current group that you're in. And then in back of the radio, or in back of the channel select knob, is a color switch, and the color switch is used for repeater talk around. So it does exactly what it's named for. By switching the color switch, you'll be able to go through the repeater using the proper CTCS tones, or go to a what they call direct or a car-to-car mode. So just by switching this, and you're going to see it on the front of the radio, it says talk around. And it'll be either talk around on or talk around off. So remember, if you don't hit a repeater, just make sure that you're in the proper mode for that. Somebody could have switched it, or you could have switched it. So just make sure you're in the proper mode. So to continue now, the orange button that's over here is usually used for an emergency button, but currently this button is disabled this time. There are 2 toggle switches, and the toggle switches are enabled when the switch is placed towards the front of the radio. So this one is for scan, and this one is for priority. So you can switch those up, and they are disabled when they're towards the back of the radio. So much like the Legacy series radios, the toggle switch comes up to it and it says scan or priority. You've enabled those 2 operations. So now we're going to go to the side of the radio, and there are 3 buttons here. There's a top button, a bottom button, and then your push to talk. So the top button is what they call a nuisance delete. So when scanning, if there is a channel that you do not want to listen to at that time, you can temporarily nuisance delete that channel from the scan list. Just by pressing this button, when the channel is active that you want to delete, you will delete that channel for just a little bit. As soon as you change anything else in the radio, the channel that you deleted will become active again. So if you turn the radio off and on, switch any channels up here on the top, do any little thing, that channel that you deleted will become active again. The bottom button is your backlight. By pressing this button, the backlight on the front display will light up and stay lit up until you press the button again. So like I said in the beginning of the video, I pressed that button just so we could be able to see the front displays. You can't see it very well right now. So it will stay lit. It will emit a little signal that knows that you have that on, and it does the front display and the entire keypad. So it's something for battery consumption that you want to be very leery about, is when you're done doing what you need to do to the radio, turn that backlight back on. Now, as you do anything with the radio, key press or channel select, the backlight will come on for its 3-second period. Okay, now we're going to go over the front of the radio. So there are 4 programmable buttons that are done through the computer programming. And the first one is the diamond button. This is the add or delete, the channel add or delete button. So as you can see there underneath, whatever is on top of the menu is what those buttons will do. So they will do many various things throughout the radio. When we go through the training, you'll see that. But right now, the diamond button is your channel plus button. So by pressing this button, the current channel can be added into one of the command zones. The zones that have been deemed as a command zone are displayed on the front panel. You need to go to the desired zone and press the Enter or ENT button, which is going to be over here on this side, to place that channel into the zone. So let's do that right now. So this happens to be San Luis LocalNet. We're going to press that, and it's going to ask me what command zone I want to go into. So I'm just going to go right up here to command zone 1, and it says escape or enter. So I'm going to press the ENT or enter button. It's going to ask me then, it says enter channel index. So that means what number you want that channel into. And so it's flashing number 3 because I've already programmed some other frequencies in it. So I'm going to press enter. You can always, if you want this to be channel 16, you want it to be channel 20, whatever you want to do, you can press one of the up and down arrow keys in there to remove it. So we'll press enter. It says channel added. So now I've added that into command zone 1, and we'll show how to go through that just a little bit later. So then the up and down arrow keys. So this one right now is the up arrow is in what they call transmit code guard. So you can choose your transmit code guard chart. So maybe a need for the user to select the transmit code guard. You will do this by pressing the up arrow key and then selecting the proper CTCS tone guard and then pressing the enter ENT or enter key. At this point, you can use both the up and down arrow keys to access the CTS tone guard. So we're going to press that now. And now it shows the different tone guards. So you can go up and down in the arrow keys, or like the old legacy radios, you can actually push if you know what one of the 32 tone guards that you want to go to. So currently it's on tone 12, but let's say I want to go to tone 1. So it's going to come up with a 1. It's actually going to go to that, and then you can press enter. It says settings saved. So now in that frequency, you've actually changed it to tone 1, and we'll show how that goes up later. So the next button over is the down arrow button, and that's used many times, like I said, to go up and down in different things, but right now it's set for the zones. So like I said, there are 53 different zones in this radio. So we're going to press this button, and you can go into the different zones. Right now it's on zone 34, and all the Ranger units, or actually all the units, are set to the zones that they're for. So the 3400 series is San Luis Obispo. So that is zone 34. So you'll see through the list that all the zones are put out that way. So if I want to go down to, let's say, Santa Barbara County, I can either use the up and down arrow keys to go to 37 and then press enter, and now I'm in that zone, or I can actually press the number key here. So I'm going to go back to San Luis Obispo. That's 3400. So group 34, 34, and we're back in zone 34. And that's how quick it is. So once again, zone. So I'm going to go to Santa Barbara, zone 37, press enter, and there you go. You're in zone 37. And you can see this by just the front display. It says zone 37 in SBC or Santa Barbara County. So the last button on this is the square button, and that's the menu button. There are many, many options in the menu button. And you press the menu button, and you can access quite a few of the different options that are in the radio. So we'll go through those really quick, and then we'll go another chapter. We'll go through each and every one of these. So you can set your priority channels, once again, using the up or down arrow keys to go to the different selections. The next one is channel scan list. control lock, contrast, surveillance, monitor mode, squelch adjust, versions, cloning, and the last, keypad programming. So we will go through each and every one of these in the next chapter. Okay, continuing on here. So like I was just saying, the last button is your menu button. So we're going to press that. And the first thing we come up to is priority channels. So under this menu are the following options. First, so we're going to press again, and priority channels. So there's a system priority 1 channel. Uses the selected channel as the priority 1 channel scanned regardless of what zone you're in while normal operating mode and scanning. So whatever channel you have selected by the channel select knob up here, it doesn't matter what appears here, that channel will be selected. So it's kind of something that we don't want to mess with right now. We're going to go through a little bit on zone priorities and how those work. But it is available in the radio. And then they do have using the up and down arrow keys, they do have a system 2 priority channel. And it uses a selected channel as the priority 2 channel scan regardless of what zone you're in while normal operating mode and scanning. So basically wherever you're at in the radio, those priorities will come up first, meaning that if somebody else is talking, the first priority will come up and then the second one will come up after that. So a lot of the times we're going to be using the next ones down, which are the priority 1 channel. Uses a selected channel as the priority 1 channel scanned only while in that zone. The zone number will be displayed on the zone for the priority channel as selected. So let's say you want to select your priorities. So you're going to press the enter button, and you can scroll down to the desired areas. And all 4 choices, when any of the 4 choices are selected, the radio will give you a choice of 3 types. So off, that it is right now, displays the priority channel. Go down 1. Use main. Priority channel is the one displayed, meaning that the channel that you have up here in the selected channel select knob. And then the last one is select. When selected, it will ask you what zone and channel you want to assign as priority 1 or priority 2. So you can go through the radio and do that. Now it does the same thing with the priority 2 channel. It uses the selected channel as the priority 2 channel, scanned only while in that zone. The zone number will be displayed as the zone for the channel you selected. These are the 2 things that you're probably going to use most often, are going to be the priority zone 1 and priority zone 2. And as you see, it says priority zone 37 because that's what zone I was in at the time, and it'll tell me what ones I want to use. So we're doing the priority channels, and the next on the list is the channel scan list. So in the channel scan list, when pressed, allows you to add or delete channels in the scan list per each zone. To add a channel into the scan list, press enter. That channel will then be added, and a check mark will be placed in the box next to the channel. To delete the channel from the scan list, press the enter button again, and the channel will be taken out of the scan list and the check mark disappears. So let's do that now. So here's the group, and this was the group 37 that I was already in. And as you can see, there's a little check mark right next to the frequency. So let's say I want to take CDF command 1 out. So like I said, these buttons do change as we're doing different things. So this one is escape. The up arrow is previous. The down arrow is next. And the square is the plus or minus. So as you see, when I press that, I'm going to press it out. Now it comes up with this V. Now this is a, so just ignore this feature right now. It stands for vote scan. It is not used on our radios. So you just press enter again to clear that V. So as you press it again, now as you see, there's nothing in that checkbox. So now when I go back into scan, I'll be able to scan everything except for the command 1. And to put it back into scan, just press it again and you're there. When you've done that, you press the escape button or ESC button and it says saving set, and you're done with that. You're out of the channel scan list. Okay, next on the list is number 3. It's the control lock. When this button is pressed, the following menu items appear on the screen: unlocked, lock keypad only, and lock all controls. So we're going to press the enter button over here, and it does. It says unlocked, lock keypad only, and lock all controls. So it's unlocked. Everything on the radio you can use. If you go to lock the keypad only, so basically when you have your radio in your jacket or something, you don't want to have these buttons pushed. It's a pretty good safety procedure to use. You will press the keypad lock only. So you go down on arrow keys, press the keypad only, saving set. Now, as you see and hear, it emits a small beep and it tells you that the keypad is locked. And it does say when you press that, it says press diamond, diamond, square, square to unlock controls. So that's what you want to do. And you want to do this pretty quick. Don't wait for it. Just do it really quickly. So diamond, diamond, square, square. It says controls unlocked. So now you're back to a normal operation of the radio. So when the menu is unlocked, press this button. All locks on the radio are cleared. All buttons and switches will work. If you lock the keypad only, like we just did, when this is pressed, only the keypad will be locked. The rest of the buttons on the top and side display will still work. Now lock all controls. When this is pressed, all controls on the radio are locked. The radio will receive the channel that it was last on before it was locked. This feature rarely used because in the computer programming, we can lock basically all these buttons out. And the only way to do that is go back to that diamond, diamond, square, square to unlock everything. So we can go down to that and press enter, saving set. Now nothing works up here. So once again, it says, so you go in, press a button, and diamond, diamond, square, square. Controls unlocked. So now we're back to a normal operation of the radio. So the next item on the menu list is number 4. It's called the contrast. And the TCOM specialist and state radio techs have asked that we don't mess with this. It's been tested both inside and outside with different light features, and it's set pretty well. But there is a way you can do this, and we will go through it just so you know for safety procedures that you know. So you press the enter button, adjust contrast, or go to default. So the default is what is done through the computer programming. But once again, probably not mess with this. So we're going to go to escape and go back in, and the next thing will be surveillance. So the next thing on this is surveillance. And it took me a long time to kind of think about what did surveillance really mean. But what it means is the backlight cannot be used. So if you press the enter button, surveillance is either off or on. So if you press the arrow down key, press on, and then press enter, the light will be turned off. So even with trying to hit the backlight, that's your bottom button here, it does not work. It's one thing to save the battery life, especially during the day, so you don't hit that. And it's just another thing that you may want to go into, or maybe not even. So once again, we're going to go the up arrow key. You can barely see this in the video, and then press enter. But by being very savvy with your radio, understanding the workings of the radio, you'll be able to do that pretty well. So now the next thing is the monitor mode, and we'll do that in just next chapter. Okay, so monitor mode. In monitor mode, any received tone assigned to a channel can be overridden or turned off so the radio will receive that channel regardless if there is a tone on the receive side of that channel. For example, all CDF TAC nets have a tone on transmit and receive of 192.8 or tone 16. So let's say a volunteer fire department comes in and someone else does not have their radio programmed correctly to transmit the tone 16 in order to open the squelch. So to allow your radio to hear traffic from that unit does not have the correct tone, you may turn the monitor mode on, and this will allow you to hear the traffic. So there are 3 types of the monitor. So let's press that, and you're going to have an off. This is a normal operation. It leaves the monitor mode normally off. You can go to on and use this if you want to turn the monitor mode on so you can monitor that channel if need be to override the tone assignment. So just like we talked about before. And then open, this is not normally used, but if you do select this option, the radio squelch will open. So just like that. And you don't want to hear that all the time. So you're going to go back into off and then press enter. So now it's back to set. So the next on the menu options is squelch adjust. You can adjust the squelch of the radio by selecting this menu option. You press the enter and then select adjust channel squelch by using the equal or minus buttons and then pressing enter. But you first must go into the menu and turn on the monitor mode. So the one that we just did before, you have to go in there and turn on that monitor feature. Do this by going into the monitor mode in the menu, turn on monitor, and then go back to squelch adjust and adjust the squelch, and then turn the monitor off. So this is something that once again is set by the computer, and I know the techs and telecom would like you to leave this alone, but if you do need to do it, refer to the owner's manual and we'll be able to do that. So the next on the menu option is number 8, and it's version. So when selected, it shows the version of the radio that it's installed. So it's more for the techs to make sure that the new program has been set, and it'll go through quite a few different things here. And all that I would be looking for as a technician is the software. So this is a software 5.3.0, which I know it's the newest and latest and greatest software, and we're ready to go. So press escape and get out of that. The next one is cloning. This feature allows cloning of the radio. Whether your radio receives a clone or clones to another radio, this is covered under a separate programming manual, and there'll be a video on that coming out pretty soon here also. So we won't go over anything for that, but once again, a lot of the technicians on your fire, it's a lot easier just to program what you have into the radio from the ICS 205 on a master radio. So, okay, so the last of the menu options is keypad programming. And keypad programming allows you to program the radio by manual operation from the keypad, and it will be covered in detail in the programming manual. So this completes the training for the Relm BK Radio, the K&G Commander. Use all these training videos. You can go back through and look at just a separate video if you like to. If you don't want to go over the entire radio, if you have something that you have a issue on or something that you want to train your folks on, it's good to go back through the video and just look at those certain things. So this is also good for the hour required through the RT-130 wildland training that is completed each year. So thank you once again for letting me do this video. And if you have any questions, you can contact your local state radio tech and or the telecom specialist either in your area or up in Sacramento. Thank you very much.